Not many more players in the league this dangerous.
Sprints to her spot. Well done.
Hey everyone, welcome back to TFD. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Coming off that huge Commissioner's Cup victory on Tuesday, the Indiana Fever made it clear they didn't want to slow down. They talked about continuing the momentum, keeping the train rolling, no post-celebration slump. And wow, did they deliver! This was one of the most dominant performances we've seen from the Fever in recent memory, especially impressive considering they were without their superstar guard. They led from start to finish, built up a massive 27-point lead, and never let up. That killer instinct was on full display in what ended as a commanding 81-54 victory. They absolutely dismantled the Las Vegas Aces. This wasn't a close game by any stretch after the first quarter. Once again, the Fever dominated the second quarter, outscoring the Aces 25-10 and heading into halftime up by 22 points. And just to put that in perspective, by halftime, the entire Aces team had only scored 24 points. Of those, 17 came from one player, A'ja Wilson. Now, Wilson did her thing, no question, MVP-level effort, but she was visibly bothered by what looked like a right shoulder issue. Trainers were checking on her more than once, and she started the second quarter on the bench. Outside of her, it was crickets. Just 3 players scored for the Aces by halftime. Jewel Lloyd and Chelsea Gray, scoreless through the first half. They ended the game with just 4 points combined in 52 minutes. That's wild. For the Fever, this wasn't just a big win, it was historic. They snapped a 16-game losing streak against this powerhouse Las Vegas team. You have to go all the way back to August 2019 to find their last win over the Aces. One player who's been there through it all? Kelsey Mitchell. She knows how far this team has come. And tonight, they proved it.
Yeah, I was reminding the team, I was like, it's been since 2000-something since I've been here. But, I mean, on the bright side is that, organizations go through certain things. There's lulls in every part of life, and I think for us in the Fever, it was our time, and I think we kind of deserved it based on our preparation and everything that we had been through prior to this game, and I think you guys got to see what it looked like for us to stay resilient throughout the course of, 48 hours. We just played, Minnesota, and we got to prepare for this, and you guys got to see what it's like for us to be resilient.
Now listen, you really can't say enough about how this team responded given the circumstances they were up against. I mean, they didn't even get back home until the early hours of Wednesday, around 3 a.m., after what had to be one of the most emotional and draining nights of the season. They had every reason to come out flat. They were riding high after that massive Commissioner's Cup victory, celebrating in the locker room, spraying the champagne, and oh yeah, every player just pocketed a cool $43,000 bonus from that win. And yet, there was no let-up. Instead of playing tired or distracted, they showed grit. They stayed locked in. They fought through the fatigue and showed up ready to work. That keep pushing forward message that was preached to them before the game, they lived it. They didn't use the travel, the celebration, or the late night as an excuse. They treated this next game like it mattered just as much, because it did. And that mentality, that's how you start turning the corner as a team. That's the sign of a squad that believes.
Made sure that our energy was high, made sure that we were focused, because obviously we know Vegas is a great team and their team full of winners. And so for us, it's make sure that we turn the page off of a great Commissioner's Cup success, and then we have to be ready for Vegas, and we were.
It's important for our growth process. Like, that game was great. The Commissioner's Cup, we won a trophy, they won some money, but it doesn't mean anything in the whole scheme of where we want to be. And we've got to take care of business, and so we want to be able to enjoy these moments when they happen, and then quickly refocus and reframe. And this is for being, the core group being very young. The veterans on our team are mature, and they've been through this. They get it. You hear Tosh, and you hear Sid, and you hear Soph in the locker room, communicating that and helping them understand and making sure that when we come out to practice every day, that we're locked in and ready to go and our energy is there. And so I think because we have that great balance, it does allow us to have the fun and enjoy, but also reframe and lock in.
What really stands out right now is how the Indiana Fever are getting it done without Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's top vote getter for this year's All-Star Game. And how ironic is it that in her absence, they still managed to capture the Commissioner's Cup and they did it in Minneapolis, on Cheryl Reeve's court. No less, home of the Lynx. And now, of course, we know Reeve will be coaching Clark's All-Star team, which she'll draft alongside Napheesa Collier on July 8th. Collier's squad, by the way, will be coached by New York's Sandy Brondello. But even with all the progress and momentum the Fever have built, let's not act like we're not all itching to see Caitlin Clark back on the floor. This was her 9th missed game of the season, her 4th straight, and for a player who was known in college for never missing time and playing all 40 games her rookie year, it's a tough adjustment for both her and the fans. Still, you want her to return healthy and not rush back. Get it right, then get back. In the meantime, though, what you're seeing from this Fever team is a collective step forward. Different players are stepping into new roles. There's a cohesion that's forming. Honestly, this might even benefit Clark in the long run. When she returns, she won't have to carry the entire load. It could open things up for her to play more off the ball. Not saying she won't still be that dynamic playmaker, but she's also gaining a new perspective watching from the sideline. And let's be clear, her value is still unmatched. Her scoring, her assists, her presence alone shifts defenses. But right now, it's what the rest of this group is doing that deserves all the credit. They are playing together, and more importantly, they're defending together. That's something assistant coach Brianne January has preached constantly, and Stephanie White has been hammering that home since training camp. It's finally starting to click. The Fever's defensive intensity is translating directly into offensive confidence. That's been the formula. Take the Aces game, for example. They held a powerhouse team to just 26% shooting. Las Vegas went 3-4, 16 from deep, and the Fever forced 19 turnovers. Lexi Hull, she was everywhere, diving for loose balls, drawing charges left and right. That kind of grit sets a tone. Here's a key stat: holding opponents to 20 points or fewer in a quarter. They've now done it 7 straight quarters, and 8 of the last 9 overall. That tells you everything you need to know. The defense is rising, and with it, this team's ceiling.
Defensively, we just want to be as sound as we need to be to get whatever we want offensively. I think our coaches just make that clear that whenever we can defend and do what we need to do, we can get whatever we want to do.
It makes you feel good. I mean, it's been a focus all season long, but to finally start to see it come together is rewarding. And I think our players feeling that sense of the reward that comes with buying into being relentless on the defensive end of the floor, the activity level that it takes, trusting that you can go all out while you're out there, and trusting those guys that are coming in off the bench to continue that momentum. It's just it's rewarding to be able to put back-to-back games together. I didn't feel like the third quarter was our best, especially the start of it. But to put back-to-back games together like this defensively says a lot about this group, and I'm just proud of them.
It sounds like cliche, man, but I swear, when we are able to be who we need to be offensively, it's because our defense is fueled by it. Getting deflections and going to play in transition, you get to see the best version of the players and pros once we get the defensive stops that we need. I think for me, it's just about staying confident and utilizing my teammates to stay in rhythm based on where I need to be. But I think defensively is just where you get to guys see us at our best offensively.
And everybody's just really connected on that end of the floor, and that's what it takes. There are going to be days where we don't shoot it particularly well. There are going to be days where sometimes offensively you don't have it, but there cannot be days where we don't have it defensively, and this group's starting to really see that.
Kelsey Mitchell was absolutely dialed in again, leading the Fever with 25 points, her 8th game this season with 20 or more. That consistency is starting to feel automatic. Right alongside her, Aaliyah Boston chipped in 20 of her own, marking her 6th 20-point outing this year. Those two, they delivered exactly what the Fever needed: strong, steady scoring and leadership when it counted. But while the scoreboard told one story, the officiating crew added another layer entirely, and not without some entertainment. The game took a wild twist early on when, believe it or not, the coaches went 3 for 3 on challenges, and that was just by halftime. You don't see that every night. Then came the moment that had everyone talking. The Fever were already in full control, comfortably ahead, but Stephanie White had a message to send. She purposefully went after a technical foul, choosing just the right moment to let the officials hear it. And sure enough, she got it. What made it even better? Caitlin Clark, still sidelined, and the rest of the Fever bench loved it. Stephanie earned the tech, turned around, and high-fived Clark like it was a drawn-up play. And when asked about it afterward, she didn't hold back. She knew exactly what she was doing. It was just one of those games where everything clicked. The stars played like stars, the coach made a statement, and even the officiating chaos added to the night's energy. This team is starting to show confidence, swagger, and most importantly, chemistry.
Yeah, well, I don't know about frustrations boiling over as more to just like making a point. Caitlin said she got me though, so.
One more than that.
She just got a bonus.
Aaliyah on Ari's impact.
We've asked you guys about Ari a lot, but what does it say about her that she's able to come in again and still be this impactful just right away?
We told her the game, we said, we're just thankful for you. We thank God for you. I just think her impact, you see it. Even just looking at the plus minus, like plus 26. Like Ari's impact, whether it's scoring, but it's defending, it's getting us into offense, it's making the right reads, making the right pass. I think she's just been the perfect missing piece for us.
Now look, there's no rest for this Indiana Fever squad. Even on July 4th, while the rest of the country is firing up the grill, the Fever will be right back at it. Practicing, locked in, preparing for their next test. That next matchup? A home game against the LA Sparks, the second of a 5-game homestand that could really define this next stretch of the season. And get this, the Fever are officially above .500 now, sitting at 9-8. That's a number they've been chasing for a while, a benchmark that just seemed to keep slipping away. But now, they've got momentum, and they've finally broken through. Now just to clear it up, that Commissioner's Cup win in Minnesota doesn't impact their regular season record. Stats from that game don't count, and neither do the wins or losses. But hey, what does count? The fact check that went into each player's pocket, and the confidence boost that came with beating a top team on the road. Still, the record sits at 9-8, and they're determined to build on that, to keep pushing further above .500, to keep climbing. So now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Tell us how you're feeling about this Fever run. And hey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and keep it locked right here for everything Fever, WNBA, and beyond. This ride is just getting started.